Welcome to Phoenix, Arizona. That's where the show originates today. We are live in Phoenix, and yes, we followed the Colts game the entire way. I thought it was going to be the NFL game that would play on CBS here because the Arizona Cardinals are not playing today. So I thought, well, the biggest game on the NFL schedule is going to be the Colts at Pittsburgh. Nope, we got to see San Francisco at the New York Giants. But I listened to every moment of the game, followed the play both online and through the radio broadcast. So I've got a pretty good feel of what has happened today, and it isn't good news. In fact, it's one of those weeks where the Colts just absolutely laid an egg. Everything that they have done to this point, that they have done well, they did poorly today. Things like taking care of the football, reducing turnovers, not throwing the ball, not throwing interceptions. Daniel Jones, as great as he has been, did all of the stuff that made him an unwelcome visitor in New York. And so, he just got to come back and be the quarterback that he was through the first 8 weeks or 8 games of the season and forget about today. But today was a very forgettable day for Daniel Jones. 5 turnovers for the Colts quarterback. Not only did he throw 3 picks, a couple of inexplainable ones and one that got tipped, but not only did he throw 3 interceptions, but he also fumbled the ball a couple of times, strip sacks, ball got free. Got to take care of the football. Part of that on the offensive line. They were not good today, but that's what we've got to talk about. So many things on the agenda today, including the Indianapolis Colts, the Indiana Hoosiers on the gridiron and on the hardwood. We're going to talk about the start of the college basketball season, which is why we are I am in Phoenix, Arizona. There's no we with me right now, but there's plenty of we around the hotel as the Mastodons are getting set to take on Grand Canyon coming up tomorrow night. But we have got this one live so that you can be part of the show. So make sure you subscribe, make sure you comment. We would love to hear from you. If you are watching today, where are you watching? What's on your mind? What'd you think about the Colts? Let us know. Just simply comment. You can watch this on YouTube. You can watch this on Facebook. You can watch this on X. We are multiple places, but we would love to have your participation. And someone else that we would love to have the participation of is joining us now. It is Adam Lundy, joining us from a chilly Fort Wayne, Indiana. Adam, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing fantastic, Brett. Yeah, no, I didn't get the invite to Phoenix, unfortunately, so I'm stuck here in nice and cold and mostly cloudy Indiana. But happy late Halloween to you. Happy late Halloween to everybody. Happy to be here. Not happy about today's Colts results, and lots of stuff to talk about besides that too. But it's hard to get the taste out of that one out of your mouth, especially with it just ending here.
The things the Colts have done well this year that have led them to a 7-1 record coming into today, they have had outstanding offensive line play. That went to trash today. They've had Daniel Jones avoid making the dumb mistakes. That went out the window today. They had a consistent rushing attack with Jonathan Taylor. That was non-existent today. The Colts, all of the things that they have done well. And I also thought they have been coaching well this year. And I didn't like some of the play calling. Yes, I don't mind the gamble once in a while, especially if it works. But I just thought some of the play calling was a little suspect. I just almost felt like, did the Colts prepare for this game like they've prepared for the first 8? Because they just were flat the entire game, didn't seem to respect Pittsburgh. That defensive front of Pittsburgh dominated a Colts offensive line that's been the best in football so far this year. And it put pressure on Daniel Jones, and Daniel Jones choked under the pressure. Now, the other part of this is, remember, the Colts haven't played a lot of outdoor football. When you look at who they've played actually outdoors, it's kind of like Tennessee and not anybody else, I don't think. I'm trying to remember, did they play another outdoor game besides Tennessee? That's not a tough opponent. They go and face a tough opponent outdoors in Pittsburgh, and maybe this team's a little soft. I don't know. They haven't really had a chance to prove their toughness, but I felt like they were a pretty tough team. But today they didn't look like it. They were out physicaled by Pittsburgh. They were not as prepared to play as Pittsburgh. And, hopefully this is one of those one offs. In the NFL, it's really tough week after week after week to maintain that high level of consistency that the Colts have shown so far this year. They've done it through 8 weeks, but today it all just fell apart. And, you know, I've always said when you're betting NFL games, do not bet this week based on last week because things change in a hurry. And that's what the Colts are going to have to do. And they're going to have to do it by going all the way over to Berlin in Germany because that's where they've got their next game against the Atlanta Falcons. But today was definitely not the Colts' day.
Not the Colts' day at all, and like you said, what I'm worried about is this possibly becoming a blueprint for other teams in the future to get a leg up on the Colts. I mean, you see what the Steelers do today. I mean, I know not everybody has the edge rushing of a Watt like the Steelers do, but you just worry about it becoming a blueprint and something that you might see again against other good teams in the future.
We might have to recycle the start of this show. We're doing it after the Colts game, but how about this Bears Bengals fiasco that's
I know
going
we
on?
gotta we gotta switch it up. No, but it is what a
I mean, the
crazy
Bears were
game.
up 41-27 when I came downstairs and set this up 10 minutes ago or so. And then I look and it's 42-41, the Bengals. And then I just looked at it and the Bears have scored 47-42. And it's, 10
It's fine.
seconds left? Yeah,
Yeah,
there's only 10 seconds left. Can Joe Flacco pull a miracle? He's thrown for almost 500 yards today. The
yeah.
40, what is he, 41, 42,
I think he's
45,
41.
48? I don't know.
Yeah, I think he's 41, and it has gone final. He ended up throwing for 470 yards, but the Bears get the win.
470.
470 from
470.
Flacco. Yeah, from Flacco. But what a game there! My goodness.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that was a wild one. I guess that would be a good one to have the over. But today we're talking mostly about the Indianapolis Colts, and we welcome those of you that couldn't turn away from the Bears game until it was finished. But the Indianapolis Colts today lose their second game of the year. And as bad as everything was, here's the amazing thing. I mean, they did so many things poorly. Pittsburgh seemed to be able to control time of possession, convert third downs. There was a lot of positives for Pittsburgh, and then the Colts were terrible, and yet this game ends up being just a 7-point game. It's a one-score game at the finish. Officially a 27-20 final. And so as bad as the Colts could be, and they couldn't be any worse, they still found ways to keep this a somewhat respectable score. The result is a loss. Doesn't matter if it's by 7 points or 50 points, it's a loss. But I do think it says something about the Colts that they did their best to overcome mistakes, but there were just too many of them. And many of them don't show up in the stat sheet, like when you miss a block on pass protection and a guy gets a clean rush on Daniel Jones and forces him to throw it early or hits him and causes a strip sack. That's the kind of stuff that was happening. Jones just, got the Colts behind the chains with some of those sacks. I didn't look the exact number of how many sacks were credited to Pittsburgh, but I'll take a quick peek. And Daniel Jones, it said he was sacked 5 times. It felt like more than that, but I don't know if they count the ones where he fumbles. But it felt like he was getting sacked more than that because it seemed like he was always facing somebody who was coming in free on one of the edges primarily.
Yeah, it was just too many turnovers. That many turnovers is going to be a backbreaker no matter what. But like you said, to the credit of the Colts, they were able. The defense was able to, hold up a couple stops on some of those turnovers. I'm thinking back to when Josh Downs let the ball touch him, and then the other the other team was able to scoop it and possession from where the ball was touched. But yeah, and then the Colts were able to get a fourth and goal stop there. But there were other times where it just ended up in an Aaron Rodgers touchdown pass to the end zone. So just too many turnovers, and that many is going to do you in. And so too many careless mistakes.
By the way, there's somebody who's going to be a technical person that's going to wonder, why did you pick that angle where it's real bright, nice and sunny behind you, and then we look at you and you're a silhouette? Because that's what I feel like. Well, number one, it does make me look like I've got a very handsome tan.
Nice tan out there in Phoenix.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks like I've got this great Arizona tan, which I don't. But it's a little bit of an illusion. But the other part of it is there is nowhere that I've got around this hotel where I can go, and I didn't bring a light on the road trip. Maybe that's something I'll have to learn. But yeah, so there was no better option. And I thought at least you get to look at a pretty background. If you don't like my silhouette and the dark face without the lighting, then at least you've got a pretty background here in downtown Phoenix to look at. Weather update, I think it's 87 degrees right now in Phoenix. Clear skies, low humidity. There literally is not a cloud. I think, well, you can see that. See back there?
Yeah. No, that's 100% blue.
That's what the sky looks like all the way across. Beautiful day out here in Phoenix, Arizona. It is NASCAR weekend out here also.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're celebrating the championship of NASCAR. It's funny, I've got a roommate, and the roommate and I were trying to talk NASCAR. Neither one of us follows it because Napa has a big, I don't know if this is their base hotel where we're at, but they had a huge breakfast this morning where they had all types of people coming in for breakfast. And I didn't even know that NASCAR was here. And so I told my roommate, I said, Napa must be having a convention in Phoenix. They had some kind of big breakfast going on. He goes, no, Napa is part of NASCAR, and this is NASCAR championship weekend. And to tell you how much I follow NASCAR, I said, wait a minute, the championship's in Homestead, Florida. That's outside of Miami. He said, no, I think they changed that 2 or 3 years ago. So I'm not going to try to talk NASCAR today.
I'm not either.
Rule number one, don't talk
least,
about what you don't know.
Yeah, at least there's a little bit more excitement to your weekend out there in Phoenix as you get ready for the Dons tomorrow night.
Yeah, we'll talk more about college basketball coming up.
Yep.
But once again, we're asking you to send us any kind of messages you've got. I think we've got some comments. Do you see the comments, Adam? Give me some comments.
Yeah, absolutely. Rick weighing in saying the Colts O-line was not good today gives them an undeserved compliment. He also said their game plan reminded him of a Mike Tyson quote, "Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth." Yeah. And Justin weighing in saying Steelers played out of their minds today. Plus, they never play well in Pittsburgh due to the Colts. I don't know if it was just not even bad play today as much as it was just inexcusable mistakes that, with the turnovers and everything, but it still wasn't good play either.
Going in, we felt like the hottest offense in the league was going to pick apart the greatest struggling defense, and that the Colts had put a 40 burger up on Pittsburgh. Didn't happen. Pittsburgh's defense forced turnovers, 6 turnovers. I mean, I don't even know how far back you've got to go to find a Colts team. Even through all the bad years and the bad teams, I'm not sure that they had a team that turned it over 6 times. And I wonder the last time any of these Colts quarterbacks, and you can go through about, 17 of them over the last decade in the Chris Ballard era. I don't know if any of them had 5 turnovers personally. Daniel Jones today, 3 interceptions and 2 lost fumbles. He actually fumbled 3 times, but the Colts lost 2 of the fumbles. So officially 5 turnovers for Daniel Jones. Jonathan Taylor never got on track. 14 carries, 45 yards, just 3.2 yards per carry. I mean, a positive, the Colts did have 2 100-yard receivers on the day. Michael Pittman and Alec Pierce, both identical. 115 yards receiving on the afternoon. Pierce did 115 yards on 6 catches. Michael Pittman, 115 yards on 9 catches. And Josh Downs, 6 catches for 57 yards. Wasn't a great day for Tyler Warren. Outplayed by Freiermuth. I thought it'll be interesting seeing the battle of 2 former Penn State tight ends going at it in Pennsylvania. But Fryermuth, I think, had the better day than Tyler Warren. Warren made 5 catches for just 26 yards and no touchdowns. But not a good day for the Colts. They got to get back at it. They're going to Berlin and taking on the Atlanta Falcons next week. All right. So I got to talk about last night. We walked down. We're right in downtown, and only 2 blocks away is kind of the strip, the area, the zone where you've got the bars, the restaurants, and it's the place to hang out.
Yeah, the center downtown place to be.
I'm going to find the hip and hot happening place.
Of course.
So we went down to the strip, or whatever you would call it, and had dinner last night. Actually, ate at Dan Marley's restaurant. Dan Marley, of course, the former Phoenix Sun, who was a former coach of Grand Canyon, who the Dons will play tomorrow night. He's got a restaurant just a couple blocks from our hotel. We went down there and had team dinner. But it also is, obviously, with Dan Marley, it's a sports bar. So we watched World Series Game 7, and that did not disappoint at all. We joined it when it was 3-1. The home run made it 3-2. Max Muncy, I think, hit the home run that made it 3-2. And at that point, then we were done with dinner, and we're like, well, we got to stick this out now. We can't be walking back to the hotel when it gets to the 9th inning. So we waited it out to the 9th inning, and then lo and behold, the Dodgers get the home run that ties the game. How about that game? I mean, that was, I wonder, in all-time Game 7s, how does that one rank in the history of Major League Baseball? Because that was everything you would want out of a Game 7. You know who won officially? They're going to tell us the Dodgers won last night. But who really won last night? Major League Baseball. Because they got a Saturday night primetime slot to showcase their game, and they gave us a gem. Thank you to Toronto and Los Angeles. You served baseball well. I'm sure Toronto doesn't take that as a consolation prize. They got to be very upset they lost, giving up that home run. And I'm thinking about the pitcher too in that situation. Hoffman for Toronto, going out there for the 9th. He's got a chance to hear the roars, the cheers, to dogpile and celebrate with your team a championship, not only for Toronto but for the country. Then gives up that long ball. Man, that's got to be tough. I mean, how long will it take to get over that if you're that pitcher? I mean, it's got to be tough. But it didn't disappoint, Adam. Did you have a chance to watch it? Because I got locked in on it, and I'll be honest, made it all the way to the bottom of the 11th, and at some point before the final out. But I was watching the bottom of the 11th because I knew Vladdy had hit the double, and I knew that there were 2 guys on base. And next thing I know, I'm waking up at 3 a.m. watching SportsCenter.
Yeah, I was able to make it through, and just what a game, and not only that, what an overall series. I mean, you take in an extra inning game 7 with that, and then you also had that crazy 18-inning game earlier in the series. So just what an absolute full boxing match of a series between these two teams, and you get the Canadians to the north involved in it. So it was dramatic there, and it's just fun. I had a lot of fun watching this entire World Series, and like you said, good for the game of baseball, except for everybody who's unhappy that the Dodgers won again and spent all that money to win.
Yes, they do spend a lot of money.
But they get good players.
You can only have one pitcher on the mound at a time. I thought Dave Roberts was kind of an unsung MVP. I mean, was it Pages, the guy they put into center field as a defensive replacement, saves the game, right?
Yeah.
Put him in as a defensive replacement, and like 1 out later, he's running to the gap, going over the top of his left fielder to make a great catch and save the game. I thought, he shuffled the lineup a couple of times and moved some guys around, and I just thought, even though they've got all the best talent, and you've got a lot of great toys to play with if you're Dave Roberts. But I thought he did a nice job running the show and pulling the right strings, and got to give him some credit as well. But I know it's frustrating to see a team that goes out and buys it, but you know what? That alone is not going to get you a World Series championship. Certainly, it helps having the best players and a lot of the best players in the game and paying them well. But there's been plenty of teams in recent years that have gone the high payroll route. Padres,
Yeah.
Mets, Yankees. I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't guarantee that you're going to be on that level. It takes more than just paying the having the highest payroll and going out and trying to aggressively pursue the best players. It's all got to come together in the clubhouse. Guys have to assume roles that maybe they haven't had in their career before. It all worked out. So, but what a game for baseball last night. I mean, the drama involved. I mean, in the bottom of the ninth, where you've got, the hot shot to second base, and he kind of stumbles and then gets a throw to home. The catcher pulled his foot off, but slid it back just in time. I mean,
Yeah.
everything seemed to be drama. They wrote a great script and they played it out perfectly.
Good
It really
job.
was. I mean, if baseball wanted to write a script, they probably could not have written one that would have covered as many bases like that. That could have
Yeah.
covered as many bases as their script last night for the World Series Game 7.
A lot of fun. A lot of fun. A lot of expectations to live up to now, because that was quite a World Series. My goodness.
This just in, IU football doesn't just beat you, they obliterate you.
Yeah, I mean, it was like I was watching it with somebody yesterday, and I basically, when Maryland, got that interception and they got their field goal, I was like, that's great. It's probably going to end up being like 40-10 or something like that.
No, it got worse than that.
Yep, it got worse.
And the thing is, Indiana's a machine under Kurt Signetti. They. Okay.
I think we heard that.
Yeah, I think one of the NASCAR's cars just drove down our street.
My goodness.
Maybe they're doing a victory lap in downtown Phoenix.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. I don't know what happened with the race, but let me tell you something. That was one loud car that just went right past our hotel.
My goodness. Yeah, it must have been. What were we talking about? No.
The joy of live YouTube. But Kurt Signetti's got this team so fundamentally sound and disciplined. They just are a machine. They just go about their business. They don't pay attention to the score. They don't get caught up in adversity. Maryland comes out, goes down the field, gets the field goal, and it's like, no problem. We're still in good shape. And they, even when the second unit comes in, they continue to do the same things as the first unit. It almost appears to be no drop off. That, again, they don't beat you. They obliterate you. They dominate you. And people could say, oh, they run up the score. They're not doing anything to run up the score. They're just playing their game, and you've got to stop them at doing it. I mean, it's quite simple. He's not doing anything different. He's not throwing it every down, trying to get quick points. No, he just, this is what we do, and you've got to find a way to stop it. And they can't. Obviously, I mean, they just blow team after team right out of the stadium. Big win, 55-10 IU.
Yeah, and I mean, they literally brought in their backup unit. I don't know what else you want him to do. I mean, should he have brought in his backup unit earlier or something? And I mean,
they played the whole fourth quarter.
Yeah, and I mean, even in when
to dominate.
And then that's what I'm saying. Is the backup unit not supposed to take advantage of their playing time on the field and play to the best of their ability? I mean, it doesn't make sense. These guys are out there trying to be the best football players they can be. So definitely not running up the score. Just like you said, just another domination by a buzzsaw of a football team that's still trying to get to that number one spot in the nation behind those Buckeyes.
Fernando. And we have to call the quarterbacks for Indiana by their first name, or we won't know which one we're talking about. Yeah. Fernando was 14 of 21 for 201 yards, and Alberto was 2 for 2 for 20 yards. So, Mendoza through 3 quarters only threw 21 passes. It wasn't like, he was torching him in the air. But the thing was, Indiana could not be stopped on the ground. Their offensive line, their running backs, they ended up with 7 guys that had carries. Now, 2 of them were quarterbacks, but that still means you've got 5 running backs with carries in this game. Kalen Black had 14 carries for 110 yards. Roman Hemby added 88. So the 2 starting running backs who kind of alternate, they finished with 198 yards on the ground, a couple of touchdowns. Kobe Martin had 11 carries for 80 yards. You had Solomon Van Horst. I have no idea who he is. I don't remember seeing him in a game, but a couple of carries for 14 yards. So it was all IU, 55-10 over Maryland. I don't know what Indiana has to do to prove that they're the best team in the country. I mean, Ohio State is winning games by a margin you would consider to be kind of a normal margin. Like when Vegas says it's 21 or 25-point spread, that's about what Ohio State wins by, right? They put that same number in IU and they like double it. I mean, what was the spread of this game yesterday? 21? What was the spread of it? Do we know?
I have no idea. I'll look it up.
Let me just look, because I mean, I think IU covers the spread virtually every week. Yesterday, the spread was 21.5.
Yep.
And Indiana wins by 45. I mean, and they do it regularly. I mean, they did that against UCLA. The spread against the Bruins last week was 27.5, and they won by 50. Pretty much doubled the spread in that game. And since I brought it up, let me just look at Ohio State. Let me just see what their spread was yesterday in that game that Ohio State won against Penn State. Now, Penn State, obviously, losing their coach, losing their quarterback. That's a team that's just uninspired right now, right?
Right. I mean, they were, they had at 17-14 at halftime. They were looking a little bit like they had a life, but then obviously outscored
17.5
by 21.
point spread. 17.5. They won by 24. Taking care of business, doing what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
But, of course, the pollsters, with the defending national champion, undefeated, winning games fairly easily, you're going to have to beat them head to head if you're going to surpass them in the rankings. So, rankings come out today. Indiana's still number 2. I mean, Indiana will do it again to Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. They got Penn State next. And I don't know. I think the pride is gone. That's about all Penn State has to play for is pride, but I think they've lost that. So going into Penn State, I don't think that will matter for Indiana. They're such a disciplined, focused team that it doesn't seem like road trips bother them. They weren't flustered at Oregon, and that might be one of the best environments. One of the other best environments in football is probably at Penn State. But I think even the fans have kind of given up on this year. So I don't think they'll see a normal Penn State crowd. And Indiana will have on tap, they've got Penn State, Wisconsin, and Purdue still left. It's a team that's going to be 12-0. Right? I mean, I think the biggest threat that they had, and it's laughable at this point, but I think the biggest threat they had on their schedule might have been Maryland more so than Penn State. But I mean, there's still plenty of talent around Penn State, but that's a team that just is playing without any real motivation. They don't care about going to the Music City Bowl, right? They were playing for a national championship, and all of that got ripped apart, and then they lost their coach. There is nothing they are playing for. All those kids are playing for is to try to get a good deal on the NIL package that's offered by someone else when they're in the portal when the season ends. That's it.
Yeah, just like I said, it's definitely not the challenge that it was at the start of the season for the Hoosiers. And I think, like you said, it's unless they don't handle business, which I have never seen under Kurt Signetti yet. So, looking like it could be an undefeated Hoosiers football season. Going back to your comments about how it was just a dominant run game. There was a good post game comment I saw from Fernando Mendoza. He said, "Quote: You want to focus on our passing game? Okay, we'll run 360 some yards down your throat." So I thought that was a great quote from Mendoza. Just and that's also good. He's not trying to just get his stats. He's perfectly willing to pass it off to a hot running game.
He is the perfect locker room leader as a quarterback because, by all accounts, studies his butt off. So he is always prepared, earns the respect of his teammates, doesn't try to do things to show off his own individual skills. I mean, if he throws 10 times and they win by 30, I think he's just as happy. If he throws 40 times and completes 35 of them, I mean, there's times in the showcases and the college days and all this stuff coming up after the season for him to showcase his arm and his ability to make the NFL throws. But um, but man, I think he's just a perfect guy. Humility, understanding, intellect. He's got the whole package. Strong arm, knows how to make the NFL throws, with finesse it or fire it or put it out there for a receiver to go catch it. Back shoulder throws, he's a master, and that's obviously become a big part of the game. And it's not an easy throw to make, and he makes it look very routine. Now, the question is going to be maybe the injuries for IU. Elijah Surratt, who's had an unbelievable year, tweaked a hamstring. Coach Signetti tried to act like it wasn't a big deal, but we'll see his availability going forward. But the other thing that Kurt Signetti has done is he's been able to layer this team and get pretty good backups, so that if he does have somebody go down, you hardly even notice they're not in the game. I mean, he's got 2 running backs, he's got 3 or 4 wide receivers. He can rotate any 2 wide receivers. Any of the running backs obviously can carry the football. We saw that yesterday. But IU, I don't think they lose. I mean, Penn State, Wisconsin, and Purdue, doesn't even matter if they're home or on the road. I think those are going to be 3 wins for the way this Indiana team remains focused, continues to take it one game at a time, and then they'll get, I don't know if it's their wish, but it's their opportunity to get Ohio State. And Indiana, I mean, just think about it. Indiana could be announced as the number 1 overall seed in the college football playoffs. It's possible.
It's
Uh,
possible. It's a long way.
Notre
It's still a
Dame
long road
overcame
there.
Notre Dame overcame kind of a dud against Boston College, but they're fortunate Boston College totally sucks because Notre Dame almost played down to Boston College level. Jeremiah Love breaks through and gets that 94-yard touchdown run, his second 90-plus yard touchdown run. I think the other one was against IU, wasn't it? Wasn't that in the playoff last year?
I think so.
But he's had 2 of them, I think, in his career. But 94 yards, busted the whole way. That opened up the 2-score lead. Notre Dame held on. But just kind of a ho-hum day for the Irish, right? I mean, they've had some bigger games. They've had some greater
Right.
challenges. They kind of came out, I think, feeling like they were the better team against Boston College. They were the better team. They played right down to Boston College's level and had to find a way to fight out and gut out a win that they should have probably won comfortably. They should have put 40 or 45 up probably in that game, and they didn't. But
Yeah,
they
that's
get the
exactly
win.
what I was going to say. You can't play with your food. I mean, your offense needs to be operating at all levels, no matter what your opponent is. You can't just go in there and say, "Oh, we can run our most basic, run options and throw reads, and we're just going to stroll to a victory." You still have to play at top level, even if you're playing 1-7 now, 1-8 Boston College. Just keep it up. Got to be firing at 100%, no matter who you're playing.
Who's ready for college basketball? That's what we
I'm
got
ready.
starting tomorrow. Here we go. After the Mastodons had that impressive win over Ball State at the Gate Center on Monday, they're ready. They showed they're tuned up and ready to go. Because I think one of the questions about this team, collection of talent, I think a great way to describe it, is it is not a team that's built on one or two first team type guys. It's built on five or six really good second team type guys. One of those guys or two of those guys might sneak into first team, but it means the Dons have a lot of options, and a lot of different guys are capable of being the leader on any given night. There's a lot of them that are capable of filling up the hoop, and it was Mikael Stevenson and CJ Hadnot who did most of that against Ball State. But you could see Mikael Stevenson get 10 assists and 10 points, and the Dons might win a game. So really impressive to see the depth. And where that really showed when we talk about the depth of this team is the fact that every player that saw the court on Monday night scored. Every one of them. So, everybody has the ability to put the ball in the basket. And they showed that off in their exhibition win. Now they take on a Grand Canyon team. It's a pretty good team. Okay. Never want to go into a game scared, but you also want to be realistic and respect your opponent. And plenty of respect for this Grand Canyon team because they've, Bryce Drew, their head coach, we all know the story of Bryce Drew. He kind of got on the map when he hit that amazing shot in the NCAA tournament to knock off, who was that? Was it Mississippi State for Valparaiso? But Bryce Drew is the head coach of Grand Canyon. And so there's some Indiana ties there with Bryce Drew. But he has assembled a roster. He's brought in like three, four transfers that have all played at high levels. And, a Gonzaga transfer, a guy that played at DePaul. And so, in fact, the interesting story is the guy that played at DePaul, Henley, he not only played at DePaul, but he played at DePaul the one season that the Mastodons went to DePaul and won in Chicago at DePaul. And he had 11 points against the Dons. So if there's anybody on this Grand Canyon roster that has a little familiarity about this basketball program that's coming into town to take them on tomorrow night, it would be him. The other guy would be the head coach, Bryce Drew. He's very familiar with the Mastodons program and used to coach Valparaiso when the Dons played Valparaiso about 10 years ago. So looking forward to this one tomorrow night. Grand Canyon, by the way, is one of the little-known secrets in college basketball for having one of the really great atmospheres in the game today. They pack their little 7,000-seat arena, and it's a nice arena.
Yeah.
But they pack it, 7,000 people. It'll be loud. They really get into it. They're members of the Mountain West, and they're ranked by the preseason poll as number 4 in the Mountain West Conference. So a lot of respect from the other coaches and media members, ranking them number 4. But they played 2 exhibition games. Both games were close against USC and Baylor. And of course, IU fans know how good the Baylor team is because Baylor and IU, in fact, Baylor had the lead against IU a good majority of that game, and then IU prevailed by 2 at the end. But Grand Canyon played both those teams very competitively, very close. They did lose both games, but they played right to the finish. So it should be fun for the Mastodons. I hope everybody tunes in to our broadcast. You'll never find it if you're trying to find it on TV. I think it's on the Mountain West Network, and of course in the Midwest, nobody's going to find the Mountain West Network. So chances are you're going to have to lock into me on 1380 The Fan tomorrow night.
Looking forward to it. It's going to be a good way to get the season started and a great level of competition, I think, for the Mastodons to kind of see where they're at. This is a good Mountain West opponent now, formerly of the West, the WAC, I believe. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing how the Dons get going. I was really excited by their high level of play against the Cardinals in that exhibition.
By the way, you mentioned Halloween. You weren't with us on Friday for your Halloween fun. So,
I was not.
Josh and I had this conversation. I'll ask you. When you pass out candy, do you prefer to pass out the candy you like, so if there's leftovers, you can eat them? Or do you pass out the candy you don't like because it doesn't emotionally hurt you every time you take a candy that you like and give it to someone else?
I've never thought about it. I usually just get the big bags of mix. I pour it in a bowl, and I let them pick their favorite. So that's what we got. That's all I got for
See,
you.
I always
I just
had the routine. I always say to my wife, hey, when you go to the groceries, pick up the candy. I said, why don't we give out Kit Kats and Reese's Pieces or Reese's Buttercup, whatever we give out.
uh-huh.
But it's always got to be Reese's and Kit Kats. And I'll be honest, it's all about me, as is most things. All about me.
No, I'll just
Because that's
yeah.
the candy I want to be left over if kids don't show up. That's my weakness. Do you have a candy that is Adam Lundy's weakness?
Yeah, I do like the Reese's peanut butter cups. I also like Three Musketeers, good candy bar.
Is there anybody that doesn't like a Reese's?
I mean, if you're not a peanut butter fan, then definitely, but gotta love peanut butter.
Once again, while you're watching our show, we always appreciate you on our live edition that we do every weekend. And if you haven't yet, make sure you do subscribe. We'd love to have you go to our YouTube channel to watch this. The YouTube channel is at Brett Rump, and the channel name is Sports Rush with Brett Rump. But the way you find the channel is you go to youtube.com/at Brett Rump. It will take you right to the channel, and you can easily subscribe. You can also click the bell so when we do go live, you get a notice that we're doing a live stream. We try to do it at least once every weekend, and we post plenty of videos and shorts that you can check out throughout the week. But if nothing else, make sure you are subscribed, especially if you're a college basketball fan, because I am going to be all over college basketball over the next 4 months. It's not going to be just Mastodons. I will, if I do just Mastodons, I'm going to title that as a special Mastodons podcast. But I will be doing a lot of things, looking at Purdue games, IU games, Big Ten games, Big Ten players. A lot of it Midwest oriented, maybe even a little Horizon League to kind of keep up with what's happening around the league. Some of the mid majors, Ball State, and some others. But I'm excited about college basketball getting underway. So you do want to be subscribed to the channel so you can keep up on all of that as we go. So speaking of college basketball, Indiana Hoosiers will get started not until Wednesday. Now, of course, first games are tomorrow night, but the Hoosiers are not going to play until Wednesday. They'll take on Alabama A&M. That should be a win for this new look Indiana squad. Um, I think they'll do fine. They're not going to be a Big Ten champion. I do not think that's in the cards. But I think having to replace an entire roster, having a short window to be able to do it, I think Darren DeVries has done a pretty good job of assembling this roster. He's got a little star power at the top. He's got 2 or 3 guys capable of scoring. I think Indiana's going to be a much better three-point shooting team than maybe people are aware of. I think they'll hit threes. They didn't necessarily scorch the nets in their exhibition, but I do think they're going to be a better three-point shooting team just because of the ball movement, the way they set up the shot. And I think they've got guys that can hit it consistently, multiple guys. But I do think they're going to play hard. That's the one thing consistently. They're going to get in your grill and play defense, try to keep themselves in games. And I think we saw an example of the competitiveness of this group in the fact that they came back in a game that meant nothing and beat Baylor in their exhibition. So all is not lost with this Indiana squad. It is not a rebuild. It is a chance to be a good basketball team. Is it a fully finished product? I don't think so yet. I don't think it's a team that's going to go 29-3, but I do think it's a team that can get to 20 wins, that can secure a spot in the NCAA tournament, and then we'll see how they're playing at that point. The goal is kind of to get this group assembled, get the chemistry, get them all on the same page, and play your best basketball in March. And I think they've got enough talent that they could be a threat. But I can't sit here and tell you with a straight face that Indiana is going to win the Big Ten or Indiana is going to be the surprise team of college basketball or they're going to make a deep run in the tournament. Can't do that yet, but I do think they'll be all right.
So you're not ready to claim DeVries the Kurt Signetti of college basketball just yet?
Not yet. Not yet. but he's a hell of a lot better than Mike Woods.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm just looking forward to this IU, basketball
People
team
don't
having.
realize how bad Woodson was.
Oh
And I'm
man,
not going to get into all the details here.
but just having a system, just having a system, an offensive scheme. It's something more than just hero ball and hey, try to get a rebound. It was bad. It was bad.
And doing a scout that's more than like, three notes. It's like just, um,
Yeah,
you got to work. You got to really work. College
yeah.
basketball head coaches have to work their butts off. I mean,
It's
when you try to
also yeah,
balance things like fundraising and team discipline and character and culture and recruiting and learning the background of players that you're recruiting, and then you're recruiting not only high school kids, but you have to also pay attention to guys that could potentially be in the portal, and then you've got to prepare your team with a scout and be prepared to go on the court. Then you've got to be a good game manager. There's so many different elements to being a good college coach these days that I think that's why you're seeing coaches get stressed out, coaches leaving the profession. Because I didn't even mention in all of that NIL, which adds an entire new part to the responsibility of a head coach, trying to manage NIL and make sure that you budget it correctly and you don't drain the entire NIL account so there's nothing left for next year. I mean, it's a never-ending process. It's a difficult process. College coaches have a totally different job today than they did even 5 years ago, and so you give credit to those that do it well, and sometimes you got to call out the guys that just don't because they just don't want to put the effort in. And Mike Woodson, one of those guys, had a lot of weaknesses. I mean, a great name and a great tradition and history at Indiana, but not a college basketball coach. I mean, he probably lasted a year longer than he really should have because it was evident. It was evident probably after 1 year that Mike Woodson was not the right guy, and so I think that the Hoosiers have a huge upgrade, and that's going
yeah,
to pay dividends. How much it will pay in the first year when you have to replace an entire roster, we'll see. That's a difficult challenge. But because at that point you've got to take guys that are willing to come, and you can't say, well, I need to plug in a really good point guard. I'm going to take my NIL money and I'm going to go out and find the best point guard in the portal and I'm going to go after him hard. They couldn't do that. What they had to do was they had to recruit all positions, all players, try to get the best talent available. And so, and then when you collect them and they show up on campus, you say, okay, raise your hand if you're a guard. Raise your hand if you're a forward. Do you play center? Anybody here? Raise your hand. That's pretty much what Indiana had to do. I mean, it was not one of those things where you say, we're going to need a really good upgraded point guard and we need another shooter, which most teams, that's what they're doing, right? They've got a
yeah.
keg, so they can put all their resources into finding that player. Indiana couldn't do that. They couldn't put all their resources into finding a very specific player. So I give him credit for the roster he's assembled because I think it's a pretty respectable roster, but I just don't think it's at a point where it's going to go out and compete for a championship. That's just the way I feel. Now, the team that I do think can compete for a championship and should compete for the championship is the Purdue Boilermakers. I think they've got a complete roster. I'm completely flustered by what happened against Kentucky. Did Matt Painter tank that game? Did he want to lose a game that was meaningless to send a message to a team that maybe he wanted to be humble? Hey, I'm no psychologist, but it wouldn't be the dumbest thing in the world to actually toss that game, to rotate guys, to play everybody equal minutes, to do things that is probably going to risk taking a loss, but a loss for a team that is getting all this praise, that the expectations are undefeated season, national champion. No one can beat this roster that Matt Painter's got. They've got the returnees, they've got the new transfers coming in, they've got everything. Wouldn't have been the dumbest thing in the world to toss that game and lose it because now you've got the ear in the locker room. Now the guys are going to be focused and play a little harder. And when the season starts, you might get a little bit better than what you would have been if you'd have gone out and just crushed Kentucky. And everybody and all the guys on the team would think, yeah, we're just as good as everybody says we are.
Well, I agree that he definitely, I think that he was willing to try different lineups and potentially, lose the game as a result of that. Do I think that's tossing it necessarily? No, but I think he was probably less concerned with the results. Do you have a bug or something over there? What's
Oh,
going
we've
on?
got flies and stuff, man. It's like you come out here where it's 88 degrees and you're gonna get bug problems.
They don't
I wasn't,
frost off at the end of the fall
wasn't
season.
thinking
Yeah,
about the bugs that were flying around here bothering me. They're getting on my laptop and then they're flying around, landing on my legs. Um,
but yeah,
but anyway, Purdue opens up their season against Evansville, and that will be at Mackey Arena coming up Tuesday night, which
yes,
means Monday the stage is set for just one of your favorite basketball teams, Purdue Fort Wayne against Grand Canyon. Game starts 9 o'clock Fort Wayne time, 7 o'clock out here. By the way, did you enjoy your extra hour of sleep last night? Because I didn't get it.
I did. Yeah, I you remember you were telling me that you don't get one because they don't do the.
The only state, Adam, we
Yeah.
could have gone anywhere in the country and we'd have gotten an extra hour of sleep. Anywhere. And we'd
Yep.
have had an extra hour of sleep. No, we end up in Arizona where they don't change their clocks. So we go to bed and wake up still the same clock, same time. We don't know what it is, but no. Anyway, so here we are in Arizona, um, and uh, and we are sleep deprived compared to the rest of America.
Going
But
loopy over there.
trying to see if I can snag Coach Kaufman's walking around down here. Trying
Hey,
to see if
coach, come on over.
he could come over and jump in on the. He's not gonna share his time with us today. He probably can't see this far. He's
If
getting
you want to,
old.
if you want to hear his thoughts, you'll have to tune into a pregame tomorrow. Ahead
Pre-game
of the.
show tomorrow. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He's on a mission right now. He's walking around, just headed into the building. But
He's got something to do. Get away
yeah,
from you now.
yeah. I know. We spent enough time together. Um, but he kept me off the scooters last night. Anybody that has followed
Oh yeah.
Masters basketball knows the scooter story by now.
If you know, you know.
High school football. Got to
Yeah.
end with high school football, man.
Yeah, I've been able to catch up on most of the scores from Friday night, so I have a good idea of who moved on.
Uh, Dwenger was impressive, and East Noble almost got upset by Southside.
Yeah, that was a lot closer of a game than I thought it was going to be.
Does that tell us what to expect next week when East Noble has to come to Shields Field to take on Bishop Dwenger?
Yeah,
That's going to be a heck of a game. Also, we get the rematch in 6A. Northrop is heading to Carroll to take on the Chargers. That's going to be our 1380 The Fan game of the week.
awesome.
Why? Because John Nolan has like 5 hours free on Friday night, so he can sit through another marathon football game between Northrop and Carroll.
All right.
No, seriously, those are two electric offenses, and it should be a lot of fun watching that one. Northrop somehow got the doink to go in the uprights and win the game in overtime. Did you see the extra point? Yeah,
Yeah, they got
doinked
their
off
doink.
the right upright and went in.
Yeah,
And that was the winning point in overtime for the Northrop Bruins over Snyder, who gave it a heck of an effort. But great football game there in the semifinal, and so we saw a game that was competitive for a while because Homestead came out to that 10-0 lead against Hamilton Southeastern, and we thought, let's go, boys, the 2-6-0. But then Hamilton Southeastern reeled off the next 20. What was the final? 24-10, 27-10, whatever it was. And Hamilton Southeastern gets the win. Now Hamilton Southeastern plays Fishers, so it's kind of a rivalry game in that sectional, and it has no impact on Fort Wayne. Adams Central doing Adams Central things. Another win over Bluffton. Adams Central now hosts Eastside for a sectional championship. And I said this Friday night on the postgame show. Don't look past Adams County for a potential state championship run. And I'm not talking about the Flying Jets. I'm talking about the South Adams Starfires, baby.
Oh, we might have lost Brett. We might have lost Brett.
But okay, so let me. I think Adam has returned to the vicinity. There we go.
Hey, we're back.
And no, I was just saying, South Adams. Don't look past the Starfires. Adams County could be celebrating two teams making a run to Lucas Oil Stadium. Adams Central, we've talked about pretty much all year. We've talked about them for 4 years now, and their state championship runs down to Lucas Oil Stadium. But South Adams with 1A and not having Adams Central as a hurdle or a block, and South Adams right now getting the quarterback play that they're getting out of Titus Lehman, I truly think South Adams cannot be overlooked. They're going to go as far as that defense takes them because I think they're going to score points against almost everybody in 1A. So I think they've got a chance, and we'll see. Graham Mosier, heck of a coach, got a great coaching staff down there in South Adams. So I'm watching them. We've got a lot of traffic making a lot of noise. I think they're starting to celebrate whatever happened with NASCAR today.
Oh,
So
goodness.
I'm gonna have to kind of wrap it up. Any final thoughts, Adam?
Yeah, before we go real quick, Rick Longsworth, one more comment. He wanted to say he's looking forward to Maria Marcasano and the women's basketball team getting underway tomorrow at West Virginia. Yeah, good luck to the women team as well.
Yeah, we don't talk a lot of women's basketball here. Probably do more of that on like when we talk on the Mastodons and do the special. But Marie Marcasano has had to kind of rebuild almost a Darian DeVries type of situation. Just a couple of holdovers from last year's team and brings in a lot of transfers. But what she's high on is this group of freshmen that have shown up on campus because they are really balling out. And freshmen will be freshmen at the beginning of the season. But as you get to February and March, you're hoping that now those freshmen have become sophomores. Not officially, but they've played enough basketball that they start to play as if they're no longer freshmen. And so it'll be fun to watch what Maria Marcasano does with this group. And it gets started. She's put together one heck of a difficult schedule here to start the season. She's got West Virginia, she's got Xavier, she's got Purdue. That's just the first three games. So, great scheduling.
There you go.
You're kind of bouncing in and out on me.
Oh, all right.
Well, I may be losing my signal too, dealing with some inconsistent Wi-Fi here at the hotel. So we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Thanks, Rick. And make sure before you do leave us that you do subscribe to us. We want to make sure you are a subscriber to this channel. And simply you can do that by going to the YouTube page, youtube.com/@BrettRump, and clicking on that subscribe button. And if you want to know when we are going live, which we try to do once a week, that's really simple too. You just click the bell and you'll get alerts when we post new content or have a new live stream broadcast. All right, that'll be it for this beautiful Sunday in Phoenix. I'm glad you all joined us for our special edition live broadcast of the Sports Rush. Stay with us. We hope to have you on the radio tomorrow night when the Mastodons take on Grand Canyon here in Phoenix, starting at 9 o'clock. The pregame show starts at 8:45 on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM, streaming worldwide at 1380thefan.com or on the 1380 The Fan app. So it doesn't matter where you're watching this, you can access our radio broadcast. Once again, 1380thefan.com, and we will have the broadcast of the Purdue Fort Wayne Mastodons and the Grand Canyon Lopes as the college basketball season gets underway tomorrow night.